All right, today we're going to talk about graphing quadratic equations. So first we need to understand that when we graph a quadratic equation, the graph is going to be a U-shaped, which is a parabola. It's called a parabola. The vertex, which is the very bottom, or if the parabola is upside down, it would be the very top point. That's called the vertex. The vertex is found by, which is the x, just using the x coordinate, is opposite b over 2a. Now, a quadratic equation looks like the following. Y equals negative x squared minus 6x plus or minus 5. The quadratic equation has a squared term in it. So in this case, our quadratic equation has a coefficient of a 1, negative 1, because there's not a number in front. So we're going to put in a number in front so it doesn't confuse us. Negative 1x squared minus 6x minus 5. Now, the number in front of the x squared is your a. The number in front of the x is your b. And then this plain number is your c term. We need to know that. So in order to first start graphing your parabola, we need to find the vertex. So the vertex, to get the x coordinate, which is your left and right number, you're going to go opposite b. So my b is negative 6. I want opposite that. So it's 6 over 2 times a. A is negative 1. So 6 over 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So my x coordinate is negative 3. Now, what you have to do is long and tedious. Now you're going to stick this negative 3 in for every x in the equation. So I'm going to take this negative 3 and I'm going to stick it here, and I'm going to stick it here. And I'm going to find y, the y coordinate. Now, I have to remember order of operations when I do this. So y equals negative 1. And when I do this, I need parentheses. Negative 3 squared minus 6 parentheses, negative 3 minus 5. I need to solve using order of operations. Order of operations says I have to do exponents first. So negative 1, negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Minus 5. I have to go left to right, remember. So negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. I'm just copying down the rest of the problem. Again, left to right. So negative 9 plus 18 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. So my vertex, my actual coordinates of my vertex, when we negative 3, 4. That's the first point I'm making on my graph over here. So I'm going to make that in purple. So I'm going over here to negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be the vertex. Now, I can tell you, let's go back up here for a second. If your A is negative, it's going to open downward like this. If your A is positive, it's going to open upward. So my A is negative, so this is going to be the highest point of your graph. It's going to go make an upside down U. Now, to get the rest of the points that we need to make the parabola, you're going to make an XY table. So X, Y, 1, 2. You're going to put your vertex in the middle. So here's my vertex at negative 3, 4. Now, you are going to go for these top 2 X boxes. You're going to go 2, thinking of a number line, 2 places to the right and 2 places to the left of negative 3. So that'd be negative 2, negative 1, -4, -5. That's how you get your x coordinates. Now to get your y coordinates, you have to do exactly what we just did for the vertex. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. Y equals negative 1x squared minus 6x minus 5. Now I have to take each one of those values I just put in the this xy table, and I need to plug them in for x. This is a lot of work. So let's just do negative 2. I'm going to do negative 2. So I'm putting in the negative 2 in for the x. So every time I see an x, I'm putting a negative 2. And then I'm using order of operations to solve it. So negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 6 times negative 2 is a positive 12. Negative 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Copy down the rest. Going left to right. Negative 4 plus 12 is positive 8. 8 minus 5. So my y coordinate is 3. So back up here in my table, this is going to be a 3. So I can plot the point negative 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be right here. Then I do the next one. Let's do negative 1. So y equals negative 1 times negative 1 squared minus 6 times negative 1 minus 5. This is a lot of math. Order of operations, exponents. Negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 6 times negative 1 is a positive 6. Should get into a pattern. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Oh, this should be a minus 5. I copied the problem wrong. This should be a minus 5. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. Again, that is your y coordinate. So I go back up to my table, and I put in a negative 1. So this should be a 0. So then I come over here to my graph, and I'm going to plot negative 1, 0, which is right here. Now, these other 2 points should be the exact same numbers as the ones we just found. I need to match them up. So obviously, at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't have a 0, so I should have a 3 because it should match up with the other one. So that's got to be a 3. And negative 5 should be 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be a 0. They should match up because a parabola should always have the equal. They should be the equal on the same sides. And then I just graph my parabola. This is a lot of work. But each time you have to go through the exact same process. Okay, let's try another one because this is a lot of work. Okay, next problem. We're going to have y equals 1/2 x squared minus 4x plus 5. Remember, the number in front of your x squared is a. The number in front of the plane x is b. Your plane number is c. So to start the vertex, you have your x equals opposite b. So my b is negative 4. So opposite that is a positive 4 over 2 times a. My a is 1/2. So 4 over what's 2 times a half? Well, half of 2 is 1. So my x coordinate is 4. So that means I need to put this 4 back in for every x in my original problem. So y equals 1/2 times 4 squared minus 4 times 4 plus 5. Again, I have to remember order of operations. So y equals 1/2, exponents first, 16 minus 16 plus 5. Half of 16 is 8. Left to right, 8 minus 16 is -8. -8 plus 5 is -3. Again, that is your y coordinate. So now my vertex is going to be 4, -3. That's the first point on your graph. So I'm coming over to my graph, going 4, 1, 2. Come over. Four, -3. So I'm going over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 3, 1, 2, 3. That's right here. Now, because my A is positive, I know that's going to be the lowest point, so my parabola is going to open upward. So now I got to make my XY table. Now, your vertex is always going to be in the middle of your XY table. So here's your 4, -3. You need 2 to the left and 2 directly to the left, 2 directly to the right. So this would be 3 and 2, 5 and 6. And now again, I have to plug them in. So let's start with 3. So y equals 1/2 times 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 5. Again, order of operations. 3 squared is 9. -4 times 3 is -12. Now, you're saying half of 9. That's 4.5. Can I get decimals? Yes. So that's 4.5 minus 12 plus 5. So 4.5 minus 12 is going to be -7.5 plus 5. -7.5 plus 5 is -2.5. That is your y coordinate. So if I come back up here, and I just put in a 3, so this is going to be -2.5. So when I graph that, I'm going to go over to 3, 1, 2, 3, and down 2.5. So that's 1, 2, and in the middle. Oh, okay, in the middle. Okay. So what does that mean 5 should be? Should 5 be a -2.5 also? Yes, it should. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should also be in the middle. So now I need to put in a 2 or a 6. So y equals 1/2 times 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 5. 2 squared is 4. -4 times 2 is -8 plus 5. Half of 4 is 2. 2 minus 8 plus 5. 2 minus 8 is -6. -6 plus 5 would be -1. So my y coordinate should be -1. So if I go back into my table, I should put a -1 there, and I should have a -1 there. So 2 should be a -1, and 6 should be a -1. So here should be my parabola. Just like that. It is a lot of arithmetic, a lot of math, but it's simple math if you use order of operations. That is graphing a parabola. So you need to find the vertex by using the formula x equals opposite b over 2a. It's 2 times a. Plug that number back in for the x's to get your y, and then you're going to make your t-table. We'll put your vertex in the middle of your t-table. So here was my vertex. Then you're going to get your x's, you're doing 2 to the left and 2 to the right of your x coordinate of your vertex. And then you have to put those numbers back in your original problem to get the y. That is how you graph a quadratic equation. Let me know if you have questions.